Alright, here we are in the Vanilla Dome area now. 1/4 of the way through this game. Good idea to stop off like we did just before coming here and making sure we are maxed out on all the goodies at that top secret area back in Donut Plains. But yeah, grab this blue shell right off the bat with Yoshi. Swallow up that key and get yourself a very easy secret exit here in Vanilla Dome 1. And as we go for the conventional exit now for Vanilla Dome 1, let's bring in Fluff for another Fluff fact about Yoshi here in Super Mario World.
We've mentioned this before in classes on Super Mario Bros., but the idea of Mario riding a dinosaur goes back to the mid-80s. There's concept art of this drawn by Shigeru Miyamoto in 1985, but due to the limitations of the NES, Yoshi didn't debut until Mario's debut on the SNES. At one point, they changed the concept to Mario riding a horse instead, but decided it didn't fit the setting of the dinosaur world, so they kept the idea in their back pocket. They almost implemented that idea into Super Mario 64 before they saved it for Ocarina of Time in the form of Link's trusted steed, Epona.
Yep, they needed those extra 8 bits to handle Yoshisaur Munchakoopas, it turned out. Here, grab yourself the star and run as quickly as possible. Kinda lost a little time there, but yeah, if you're running the whole time with that star, you should be able to make that without issue, but it's a little tight. Just make sure you don't take your foot off the gas pedal there. If you want to take the top route to get the dragon coin, gotta knock it out with a buzzy beetle. Helps to be small, obviously. Tight space, but there's no incentive besides personal pride for getting all of the dragon coins in this game. There's no percentage or anything that's shown. There's another one right there, which is why we're not going out of our way to collect them. We're just most of the time showing you where they are. But for the most part, yeah, the only thing we really care about is getting all of those secret exits, which we talked about. That's the one that actually shows up at the end, so. And there was that last coin. Take that blue shell to the end with you, and you can turn that into a 1-up right there. So we are 10 away from the max right now. So the map kind of splits a little bit here. You can go to the right and go to the castle. We're going to come back here a little bit later. Right now we're going to work our way up to Vanilla Secret 1 and outside this way. We'll cover all the levels, but yeah, just to knock out all the vanilla named levels all before we get to that castle at the end here. So maybe a little bit out of order, but just wanted to mention that. This is another vertical scrolling level, another one of the few. There is a secret exit to be found. Having a cape feather here definitely helps for getting around, as you will see. See, there's dragon coins kind of spread all over this area. Nothing too hidden for the most part. If you want to drop down to the left, there's one at the bottom of the leftmost area. A dragon coin, but for the secret exit, we're going to use our cape feather right on this little platform right here. We have just enough runway to get up to a running start, and then fly to the top left, and right there. This takes us to a little mini area where we have a football chuck kicking the ball about. Not much of a defense system, not much of a deterrent. Just go to the giant gate right there for the secret exit. And this takes us to Star Road, which, again, we're going to put off until the end of the game. Do that right before we take on Bowser, knock out all the regular levels before we get to the hidden stuff here in Super Mario World. We'll be showing you everything, though, don't worry. Those are some of the most fun levels, actually. The Star Road and beyond, actually. A little sloppy. That's alright. That's why we always have a backup right there. Or generally have a backup. So here we just need to thread this needle right there. Tight little window, but you can make it work. And just continue climbing. There's the remaining 2 dragon coins on that side if you're going for all 5. Pop through this pipe, and then you have the conventional exit, once again guarded by a football playing Chuck right there. Punting Chuck. Feel sorry for him. Just wants someone to kick a ball around with. A little too busy right now. Busy flubbing up, trying to make sure we don't hit any. Ah, that's more than I want. That's all right. 93. Alright, so this will continue on the normal path right here to the pipe, and this will take us outside to Vanilla Heights, Vanilla Secret 2. Not much secret about this stage. There's no secret exit. In fact, there's pretty much just a whole lot of Koopa Troopas, flying Koopa Troopas bouncing around. And actually, so if we swallow one of these up or just pick one up, we can get another flying feather there, or cape feather. So this is a good place actually to grind extra lives right here. You just keep kind of hovering in the air, holding down both Y and B. You can take advantage of the recent population explosion of Koopa Troopas here and grab yourself a whole bunch of lives. Probably more if we weren't killing them outright. We could have gone back without Yoshi kind of crushing them to death, but yeah, if we just kind of smacked on their heads, they would still be around, so plenty of lives to be had right there. A few more right here. There's a silver P-switch right there, and we can use it on these spinies, turn them all into silver coins. Like Blaze mentioned, pick them all up, and we get ourselves 3 extra lives right there. And we are now officially maxed out at 99 lives. We got our 3 up right there. Yeah, if you keep going, you can get even more of those silver coins. And hover in for a 40 piece on that counter. Can't help myself, you know. Certainly not hurting for gold/red stars at this stage in the game, but nonetheless. Let's move on to Vanilla Secret 3. And again, no secret exit here. And got some dolphins for the first time. And Fluff, how about the dolphins?
In the Japanese version, Yoshi can actually eat these dolphins. This was taken out of the international versions, very likely due to the different cultural views towards dolphins.
Yeah, I know it's very rare, probably more so today, but there is a part of Japan where they hunt and eat dolphins, whereas in America, we just like to swim with them, or say, look how cute they are when they wear their little goggles.
Yep, it's not only illegal to eat dolphins here, it's also pretty dangerous as they're full of mercury, especially relative to a lot of other marine life. This is due to the fact that they're higher up on the food chain, meaning they live longer and consequently absorb more mercury into their systems by way of their diet over the course of their lives than most of their neighboring species.
Thank you very much, Fluff, as we got kind of smacked around there during that lesson on marine biology. Kind of pivoted in that direction there, but that's all right. Never know what you might pick up here on Video Games 101 as we get another 40 spot right there. Moving on to one of the more novel stages in this game, Vanilla Fortress. In this case, an underwater fortress. So we're definitely going to be using Fluff's tips on swimming. Remember, just hold down when you hit that swim button with B. Conversely, and we can just walk through here as Small Mario. Finally, incentive for our sucking in that last stage. Yeah, conversely, when you're trying to go up, hold up on that button as well. Just kind of the effect of transitioning between holding up or holding down to move around the water a little more efficiently. That's the key to surviving these stages. 2 different routes you can take in this area. I prefer the lower route. I think it's a little calmer. Don't have to worry about the revolving spiked chains quite as often, at least. And we have another boss coming up here that we have not yet seen yet, so let's throw it back to Gary for tips on this one.
Boss beaters. For Reznor, you want to run and duck and slide if you're big. If you're small, you just run underneath and bop that platform underneath to knock off that first Reznor. But repeat this process while you're avoiding the fire for the next two. And then that last one, you want to quickly jump as that one's coming around clockwise. Get underneath that platform, underneath him, just in time so you can get that jump off before he goes around to the basically the noon o'clock position, if you know what I'm trying to say, just like we do in the video here. Not too difficult if you follow this strategy.
Thank you, Gary. Yeah, we're going to backtrack now, not just to Vanilla Dome, but back to the top secret area and make sure we're topped off before we carry on here in Vanilla Dome. And Fluff, why does Reznor sound so familiar?
Dave Brooks strikes again. While most of the Koopas were named after well-established at-the-time celebrities in the arts for Western markets, Reznor is the odd dino out, as he's named after rocker Trent Reznor, who had just made his pop culture debut 1 year ahead of Super Mario World's release in 1989 with his musical project 9 Inch Nails' debut record. Thankfully, and luckily, they chose a musician who is still very popular and relevant today, rather than, say, a Midge-Eeyore.
Ouch. Apologies to all the Midge-Eeyore fans out there, class, but carrying on. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. You know, it's one of those things you're like, well, I mean, has Trent Reznor been around that long? But there you go. Davy Brooks strikes again, indeed. As you can see here in Vanilla Dome 2, there are a lot of blocked off areas. And if you're guessing, there's probably going to be a P-switch at some point. You would be right, class. Very perceptive. We can unlock some areas, and there is a secret exit for this stage as well, so a lot to be covered here. We're going to grab this just so we can cross over, and if you go to the left, here is a P-switch, and we'll need it to open up this barricade, and then drop down this second opening while those blocks are temporarily turned into coins via the P-switch. Grab the key. And I don't know if we mentioned this yet, but it's obvious. When you're holding on to something underwater, it makes you go a lot faster. Just don't always have the control. So whether it's a shell, a key, a block, allows you to cut through that water a little bit faster, just not with the precise controls that you would normally have. So just something to keep in mind. Watch out for the shiny Koopa right there, as we did not. But it will take out these enemies for you and get you a 1-up or 2. Just be careful when you're popping into this pipe here. Don't get hit by it. And hit the giant red switch right there to populate all of the red blocks. I like that shade of red, by the way. Blue is the only one we're missing at this point. That'll be coming up in a couple worlds from now, a couple mini lands. As we populate the world with these red blocks. And then head back into Vanilla Dome 2 to beat this the conventional way so we can carry on. Have to be a little careful now in our game because playing a little fast and loose, get ourselves a mushroom here, a super mushroom to give ourselves a little breathing room. More importantly, a little confidence which comes with knowing that you have that extra hit you can take before you die in so many games. It's a world of difference, isn't it, class, when you're playing with a full bar of health versus, you know, one more hit and you're dead. It's you tighten up so much. Can't help it as we try to get another power up there. Yeah, just kept coming out of the water there. Didn't want to draw attention to it like being in the middle of a no-hitter, but trying to keep this no-death run intact as long as we possibly can. Doesn't really get hard until those, the second half, certainly at the earliest. Watch out for the charging chucks there, just wondering what happened. Why they weren't programmed to be able to swim. You can see a P-switch behind that line of blocks right there. You could only get that in the checkpoint for this stage if you take that top route, like we did the first time, and gone to the right instead. But we're not too concerned about it. Just wanted to point out, though, that that's up there. Just cut through here for what it's worth. Just a change of scenery. As the splitting. It's multiplicity right here. Michael Keaton, anyone? Anyone see that movie? I like to throw out the occasional, just random 90s reference. A lot of films that, unless you grew up in the 90s, you probably don't know. Like we mentioned before, I don't remember which movie we were referencing exactly, but it's so many movies. Are we gonna get another one? There we go. 8 lives right there. Yeah, so many movies that you wouldn't know unless you grew up in that decade because they're just not worth mentioning. They're not worth remembering otherwise. They don't show them on TV all that often because they're not that great. They get sifted and sorted out, filtered out in favor of the good movies which came out in that decade. But I digress, Fluff. I'm told you have a fact about the boos.
Here's a fun fact for the impatient members of our class. If you stare at a boo for roughly 13 seconds, the boo will make a face back at you. Even better, stare at a big boo for roughly 25 seconds and he'll peek out from behind his hands. I like to think it's the boo's way of saying, we're all just having fun here, Professor.
We are just having fun. Thank you very much, Fluff. Mind the big boos, don't corner yourself right there. He's he was right by it. There is a vine to be found right there. If you hit that one particular block, grab yourself a dragon coin. More coins up top, but that's about it. Some coins right here in this block. Continue on into this next area where we have these giant green bubbles, which you can spin jump off of with A. I actually like to get one from the left-hand side of the screen and just kind of ride it to all the way to the end. Generally giving me the height I need to rise above the other bubbles in this stretch here. Eventually you'll find some blocks you can hit for a P-switch. Before you go ahead and hit that P-switch, you want to grab it, take it over to the right here, and clear out these coins, as the secret door which will appear will only be accessible if we take out those coins first. And there we go. No secret exit to worry about this time. And we're moving on along to a Vanilla Dome 3 now. Speaking of the impatient members of our class, and honestly, I'm one of them myself, yeah, this level's not going to be to your liking, as we need to ride this slow-moving skull boat platform. Watch out for the blargs. If you hit that one at just the right time, you can give yourself enough time to grab that one up, but not worth dying for. Especially if you're at 99 lives right now like we are here in our particular game. And another one. You can actually do a spin jump off of their heads if you do it in just the right spot, but it's not advisable because it's such a tight window. Hit that right there to create a little platform for yourself. And if you have make sure you actually get enough room to run right there. You can fly to the left here and grab yourself a 3-up moon. One of probably only half a dozen or so in this game, but then you can fly across this way, right across the gap, to find yourself another one of those Match 3 mini-games, which Fluff gave you the hack for earlier. We're going to skip that. And reluctantly hop back on our slow-moving boat here. Blarg's not difficult to avoid, especially if you have the ability to stagger your drop with a cape feather, but trigger this little boat, this little platform before you move to the right here so that you can ride across, as that lava is an instant death. We can drop in here. If you're looking for all the dragon coins, one of them is at the end of this little stretch here. Interesting that the ice biome and the lava biomes are so closely connected, just one pipe apart from the looks of it. Certainly grab yourself another feather right here though. And there's a fast-moving shell right here, courtesy of that Koopa, which kicked it and then cost him its life. If you hit the checkpoint right there, the mini-gate, you can become larger Mario right there if you're small Mario, so do that before you grab your power-up, if you have the opportunity, but grab ourselves a Yoshi there. Yoshi can hop off of the blargs as well. as they can with most enemies, but again, tight window, and unless you want to see your Yoshi burn to death via lava, just melt right in front of you with a big old smile on its face to make it seem even worse. Steer clear of that. Another dragon coin right there. This is one of those stages which has a surplus of dragon coins. I think there's at least 6, I think. For what that's worth. There's one just to be found right here, but there's an extra one if you fly up above and you can kind of, the giveaway is the feather right here, or a sign that there might be something to check out above. So let's get this buzzy beetle out of the way and just fly on up. There's an extra one for an extra life right there. And we're gonna leave Yoshi up here, hit that switch, and let's go for the 40, why not? Not gonna happen. 30's nothing to sneeze at though. 30 might be harder to hit than 40, honestly, so. Or at least that's the consolation mantra I tell myself when I don't get the 40. But moving on, another 1 exit level. Vanilla Dome 4. This is one of those stages where it's probably recommended to just fly over the whole thing. Certainly a lot more satisfying. Well, I guess it depends on what you find satisfying in a game. If you like playing it the conventional way as intended, then yeah, probably don't do that. But as I mentioned, I get a certain satisfaction out of bypassing the entire stage in just a couple minutes by virtue of our cape feather. Avoid all the bullet bills, Koopa Troopas, piranha plants. This blue pipe can be, if they try to sandwich you there, just a barrage of bullet bills. You can go in this blue pipe to find ourselves a level not unlike the one we just came out of, with another slow-moving platform here without the blargs to worry about. Cape feather makes this a whole lot easier. You can't, if you have Yoshi actually, you'll get caught right there, so just keep that in mind. Best leave him outside again, unless you want to see him smiling at you as he melts. Or maybe just stands there on the lava. Honestly, he's resilient, that dinosaur, but regardless, I don't like to see it. As we come out of the pipe here, we can hit this to get ourselves a 1-up if we're quick enough. A few more bullet bills for good measure. And one more dragon coin for good measure as well. And 30? 28. Now on to Lemmy's castle here. And we have Magic Koopas to deal with for the first time in this game. I find it best to just charge right through like we did right there. Be very careful when you're cutting through the top to the bottom with your spin jumps, as you don't want to drop through the bottom floor with your spin jumps and fall to your death. But yeah, take out the barrier right there. You can jump on the Magic Koopa's heads, and then we can go to this next area just to grab yourself a 1-up. Otherwise, you would just go through a bit more lava, a few more Magic Koopas, and eventually a door, but get yourself a 1-up by going that route. Another area which is a lot easier when you have the cape feather, which we just lost, but there's a mushroom just down right in here. Might need to wait now to get out. Now we can squeeze it in. There will be one more box right before the boss, as per usual. Make sure that's up, obviously, before you get to the edge, so that you can make that jump right there. Watch out for the dry bones patrolling back and forth. Just knock them down to give yourself a few seconds of respite. And another item and another boss. Scary?
Boss beaters.
All right, Lemmy Koopa's got a couple fakes working with him here, a couple dummies. You want to jump when his head pops out, when all the heads pop out. The cape float works really well here, so you can kind of float down, make sense of where he is, and maybe even fall on him. But find the real head, jump on him 3 times, he'll take him down. Just watch out for that fireball as well. Not too difficult.
Alright, and Lemmy. Fluff, who is Lemmy named after?
In getting back to the Koopa Kids named after musicians, Lemmy Koopa is named after British rocker Ian Fraser, aka Lemmy Kilmister, the founder, lead singer, and bassist of the heavy metal band Motorhead, most famous for their 1980 enduring hit Ace of Spades. While the musician Lemmy wasn't known for a mohawk, Lemmy Koopa rocks one, which likely led Dave Brooks, who named the Koopa Kids for the Western releases, to think of this punk and metal connection.
Makes sense. Thank you very much, Fluff. It's a nice video. It's been around for a while, but basically, African-American kid going up to Lemmy and saying, I like metal music, but not a lot of my peers like metal music. What do I do? Like, it's basically just asking for advice, and Lemmy just seemed like a good guy, saying, screw him, do what you want. Metal is colorless, essentially, so, yeah. Seemed like a good dude. Rest in peace, Lemmy. As we continue our little mishmash of the Twin Bridges and Vanilla Dome areas here. Make sure you grab that Yoshi, though. We'll need one to basically sacrifice to get to the secret area in this next stage. As we're going to take the right pipe here past Lemmy's castle to get to the lower area here in the Twin Bridges, the Cheese Bridge area. If you want to fly through as much of this level as possible, not a bad decision actually. See these saws on the tracks right here. The cape feather is an absolute must for giving yourself a little more hang time to float over a lot of these saws here, but yeah, take the topmost platform. There's a pipe you can enter here to the right if you want a little change of pace, get attacked by some bullet bills instead of some saws, but we're going to use the little runway here to give ourselves a little more lift and do this one more time. This is a little dangerous. I don't necessarily recommend this. As you can see right here, where you drop down, bit of a crapshoot, but if you can land on one of those saws. So the trick here is to go underneath the giant gate, dismount off your Yoshi, sacrificing him in the process. Grab yourself that 3 1-up moon right there, and that's the secret exit right there. Very sneaky. Before we head into Soda Lake, let's do the conventional exit here. Knock them both out, one after another. So this time, without the Yoshi, we can just fly through, get that running start, and it can be a little tricky when you can't see yourself to time this, but yeah, this is my favorite way to get through this stage. And as I think I mentioned earlier, this is my favorite way to get through most stages in this game. This is the bullet bill area right here. You can see they'll launch them at you. If you're, yeah, right there. Just from all angles, all directions. Shave a little time off though, but yeah, back to flying through the remainder of this stage. That was a little dicey. A little slicey, maybe better said, with the giant saw, but anyway, easy enough to knock that out, as you can most levels with the cape feather, and certainly after you've already gotten the secret exit, not a bad way to do it. But let's work left to right before we head into the next section and go to Soda Lake now, where we can make use of that swimming technique once again. You can see the amount of propulsion we get going up the lift when we hold up on those strokes. Use the cape spin to deal with the many blurps of Soda Lake. And very handy for using that trick of, again, holding down when you hit the swim button. You can basically swim in a straight line, which is great if you want to swim just above the bottom of the screen, because if you go too low, obviously that counts as basically falling into a pit. That's a loss of a life right there, but see, we can use it right there. Don't have to worry about the rhythm too much when you do it that way. But yeah, very dangerous. Soda Lake. Sounds like a refreshing place, but no, it's a good place to die. Courtesy of all these, they're not bullet bills exactly, but Torpedo Teds, I think they're called. Bullet Bill's cousins. Had a good time with the names. I guess that wasn't Davey in this case, but whoever did it had a good time doing that. Let's see how well we could do with this. Alright, give it one last try before we just say, yeah, I'll screw it. That's fine. We're not going for those anyway. Again, they're just padding out the walkthrough with extra time we don't need. So if you finish Soda Springs, you can head down here and you'll find the entrance to, well, there's another way to get into the Star Road essentially, but again, we're going to put those off till a little bit later and get back to the delicious sounding Cookie Mountain. Stretch always made me hungry as a kid. I think I know why. Like Soda Lake, there is only one exit here at Cookie Mountain. A couple different ways to go, a couple instances where we can go through pipes, but they're all ultimately ending up in the same place, for what it's worth. Watch out for the cute little Monty moles. Like to pop out and surprise you. And then that little hop after they come out too, sometimes that can get you off your rhythm. Couple sumo bros up there dropping the fire. Not necessary at all to go into this pipe, but just in the interest of showing you everything here, we'll drop in and we'll use Fluff's swimming technique, holding down as we are doing our strokes here to avoid these poor Koo puffers. And as you come out up top, could obviously just fly up here, but if you didn't have a cape feather right there, you can just use that to pop out and just run to the right to get that one up, and then another one on top of this hill right here. Dragon coin as well if you're collecting those. There's a vine right here to get up to this. You can also get to that platform over on the left to get yourself that one up that way as well. And it's your old pal Yoshi. Hopefully he has no hard feelings about sacrificing him back on the cheese bridge just a moment ago. And there we go, got enough of those. And as Blaze mentioned, we now get the coins here. And just eat the power up via Yoshi's tongue right there to get ourselves an extra cape feather. Again, grab every single one of these, all 10 of these, to get ourselves a 1-up. Thank you very much. Can't eat the sumo bros, but we can knock them off of their whatever they're standing on. Just like the Hammer Brothers of the original Super Mario Brothers. And there we go. And once again, instead of heading on to the next castle, which I think is now available to us here, Ludwig's Castle. Just confirm that, number 4, midway point. We're going to backtrack through Vanilla Dome once again, just in the interest of sort of loosely going in order here. Again, they split the 2 different ways you can go right here from the start here in Vanilla Dome, so. But we are going to go straight up through here and take the top route on the twin bridges, the upper bridge, where we left off earlier, and Butter Bridge 1. Another auto scroller, but thankfully one with one single exit. There's actually some tricky platforming here. We may need to sacrifice Yoshi again, that is if we can even hang on to him. You'd see you weight down these mushroom platforms, but as soon as you take pressure off of them, they will pop back up to their normal height. So much for that. Thing was, I was going for the 1-up as well. Completely unnecessary at that point, but yeah, grabbed a couple nonetheless. We lost our Yoshi though, so we need to be careful. Absolutely recommend coming into this stage. We're going down here, so you can ride this one down. Actually makes getting this dragon coin a little bit easier as you thread between those Koopa Troopas. Yeah, I absolutely recommend that you have at least 1, if not 2 cape feathers before you take on this stage, just because the value in being able to float around as everything's scrolling. Note the 1-up in that second from the left block right there on that top row as they speed up things here. But yes, you don't need to be nearly as precise with your jumps as you grab the final dragon coin there, while you have the ability to float down on this stage. Once again, if you have 30 coins when you hit that, if you've collected that many on that stage, then you'll get yourself a 1-up. But yeah, not too difficult as long as you have the cape feather going into this one, as most levels with pits are. And we have one more in the second butter bridge. Not out of the woods yet. I'd expect butter bridge to be a little more slippery, so you have more opportunities to grab yourself cape feathers from the start here, but hit this and grab yourself yet another cape feather if you need one. Lots of opportunities here. No reason to not have a cape feather here for hovering over parts of this bridge which are in desperate need of repair from the looks of it. You can fly up once you have a little bit of runway and grab yourself the dragon coin right there on that cloud platform. You have the Yoshi at this point. Swallow up one of those blue shells and just fly through the majority of this stage before he swallows it. About 18 seconds later again. Playing a little fast and loose here. We're trying to hold on to that no death run. Drop down in here if you want to grab the last dragon coin or an otherwise inaccessible dragon coin if you skipped this area. No enemies here, just coins, so you can transition between the rope here and the platform at the bottom and then just hover over to the right. A lot of traffic here on Butter Bridge too. And this is the final dragon coin. If you want to bounce off an enemy to get that coin for yourself, then that's the way to do it right there. Again, putting our lives at risk here, just trying to give you the full experience as we made off with 40 stars here at the end of Butter Bridge 2. And it's time to take on Ludwig von Koopa. It's a big old mess. Well, I guess we still got 3 out of it. And Ludwig's castle, quite a bit different from most of the ones we've encountered so far. Very tight spaces we're operating in here. Having the cape spin helps for taking out enemies. And we can pop through the ceiling right on that square right there. And just to show you, because I have no interest in doing the actual minigame, but there is one of these match games here. I'm just going to go ahead and skip right on by it. Either way, if you kept going through the door, this would pop you out in the same spot right here. Mind that ceiling coming down, just get to that switch. You have plenty of time to, without having to rush and make any rash moves or decisions, which will probably end you up in the lava. You can hit that switch to reset it. And then at this point, just run for your life, right to left. You should make it with plenty of time to spare. And then we have another fence area. If you pop off to the right, you can grab yourself another cape feather. Or, depending on what power-ups you have at that time. If you're small Mario, it'll just be a standard mushroom. Plenty of opportunities to get consecutive combos, though, on the Koopa Troopas here. But anyway, when you're ready, go through the door, and Gary?
Boss beaters.
All right, Ludwig von Koopa. Want to jump on his head and then avoid his shell when he's sliding around on the floor. When he goes back to standing, jump on his head again. At this point, he's going to jump across the screen. Just make sure you're ready to jump on his head once again. 3 hits, like everybody in this game, you'll take him down.
Thank you very much, Gary. And Fluff, I feel like I know the origins of this name, but you might as well tell us just the same.
Yeah, this one's obvious, but I have to mention it. Ludwig von Koopa was named after German music composer Johann Sebastian Bach.
What?
I'm just kidding, Professor. Yeah, he's named after Ludwig von Beethoven, obviously because of the trademark wild hairstyle.
Ah.
Beethoven was... Well, I only have so much time for each fact, but suffice to say that Beethoven is one of the most prolific and oft-performed composers in classical music of all time. Personally, though, I'm partial to Antonio Vivaldi myself.
Yeah, I had a hunch you'd say that. Thank you very much, Fluff. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and comment on this video, and click subscribe if you haven't already, as this seriously helps me to keep making great content for you.